For thousands of years, humans had spread across the stars. They built cities on strange planets. They traded with alien races. They fought wars and won them. No species in the galaxy ignored the humans. Some feared them. Some respected them. But no one dared attack them again. Not after the Red War. And then, one day, they were gone. Not just their warships. Not just their stations. All of them. Every human, every colony, every outpost. Gone. The silence begins. It started quietly. Mining crew from the Thrak species arrived at a human-controlled asteroid field. They expected the usual greetings, scans, warnings, but there was nothing. No ships, no response. Just empty silence. At first, they thought the humans were hiding, or playing games. But then they entered the main asteroid base. Lights were still on, food trays still full, air systems still working, but no humans, not one. Panic across the stars within days. Thousands of alien ships went to check on human space. Same results everywhere. Abandoned homes, clean ships, still working systems, but no people, no blood, no signs of battle, no escape pods launched, just a perfect, sudden disappearance. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. The oldest member, a 10-eyed creature named Vosna, whispered, "This is not natural. This is not war. This is something else." Some blamed pirates. Some blamed a new weapon. Some thought humans left by choice. But no one knew for sure. And that made it worse. The fear grows news spread fast. Alien markets crashed. Travel routes shut down. Even enemies paused their wars, because if humans could vanish, so could anyone. A Zarnari patrol tried to enter Earth's orbit. They found the planet spinning quietly, lights still glowing in the night, but no one responded. Earth looked peaceful, dead but alive. One brave pilot dared land near an old Terran city. He stepped into the street. His translator picked up soft music still playing from open windows. He entered a house, shoes near the door, food in the oven, a child's toy on the floor, but not a single human. The pilot ran back to his ship shaking. The first theory annulled. Sarn Monk, who once studied Terran culture, gave a strange idea. He said, "The humans used to speak of something called ascension. They believed that one day they would rise above matter, become something else. Many laughed, others did not. Because in one hidden corner of space, something strange had started happening. Dead stars were lighting up for no reason. Gravity was twisting in impossible ways, and near one of these stars, a signal appeared. It was weak, old, and in ancient human code, only one word repeated every 7 seconds: return. The ghost signal. The signal came from a dead zone, a place no species visited anymore. It was near a system where humans had once built a massive black site. No one knew what they did there. Some said it was science. Others said it was something darker. Now the signal was coming from that place. A group of brave explorers, scientists from 5 species, sent a drone to investigate. The drone vanished within minutes. Then, they sent a second drone, using old Terran code to identify itself. This time, the drone came back. Inside its memory, they found something impossible, a map, but it showed no known systems. Just one word, beyond. The quiet eyes weeks passed. The galaxy grew colder, trade slowed, alliances weakened. No one trusted anyone. Some began to say, maybe the humans didn't leave, maybe they're watching. Strange things started happening. Varan Warlord tried to claim an old human planet. His fleet entered orbit. 30 minutes later, all his ships lost power. They drifted silently, emergency lights blinking. No one answered their calls. When a rescue team arrived, they found all the ships empty. Every warrior was gone. No blood, no signs of struggle, just silence, and a strange symbol carved into the bridge floor. It looked like a flame. The whisper in the void old Terran stories spoke of something called the Void Protocol. It was a secret plan, a final plan. If Earth was ever truly threatened, humanity would vanish from sight, not to run, but to hide and prepare, to go where no one could follow. To build something no one could stop. Most believed it was a myth. Now, no one was sure, because the whispers had started. Aliens across the galaxy reported strange dreams, voices speaking in their sleep, saying words they didn't understand. Some said the voice was human, and always the same sentence: "Do not search for us, do not follow." A message to the Council. Then one day the Galactic Council received a direct message, not from a ship, not from a planet, from space itself. The stars near the Orion Arm shifted, creating a pattern, visible only to those watching with deep space lenses. It showed a symbol. It was the Terran symbol for observe. Below it, in bright light, came a message written in pure gravity waves. "We watched. We warned. You didn't listen." Panic erupted. What did it mean? Were the humans angry? Had someone broken a deal? Or had the galaxy simply reached the end of human patience? The old general speaks, General Korak of the Dresh Imperium, who once fought humans during the War of Flame, stepped forward. He was old now, dying, but his voice shook the chamber. "I told you, fools. I told you what they were. They are not like us. They don't think like us. When we killed their people, they didn't just fight back. They remembered." He leaned forward and said, "They're not gone. They're just waiting." The final sight. On the edge of known space, an explorer ship saw something strange. It looked like a planet-sized ship, covered in smooth black metal, no lights, no windows, just darkness. It floated there, watching. Then, just as quickly, it vanished. But the ship's cameras caught one frame before it disappeared. Face. Human, eyes glowing blue, staring directly at the camera and smiling. The ship returned, shaken. The crew never spoke again, but the camera played the same audio loop when powered on. "We are scattered, but we are not lost." To be continued. And so the galaxy fell into fear. Not because of war, not because of destruction, but because of mystery. Where were the humans? Why did they leave? And what were they becoming? No one had answers. But deep, in the darkness between stars, something was watching, waiting, and soon it would return. The galaxy had not heard from humans for 3 months. That was longer than any silence in history, longer than war, longer than peace. But now, something had changed. A weak signal appeared. It came from deep space, a place no one had visited for centuries. It was near a dead star, a place known only as Sector X-23, a place once touched by humans, then forgotten. The signal was simple. One word, spoken in an old human voice, every 7 seconds. Return. 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 The Council reacts. The Galactic Council met again in panic. "They're trying to contact us," said Chancellor Rulok of the Yavani. "Or warn us," said the insectoid delegate from the Tlakar swarm. "Or bait us," said General Vern of the Drax. The room grew silent. No one wanted to admit the truth out loud. They were afraid to go, afraid to ignore it. Finally, they made a plan. Send a small, multi-species team. Only one ship, only volunteers. They called the mission Echo 1. The Echo 1 crew. The team had 5 members. Captain Lyra Voss, a human culture expert from the Thrinax University. Gorath, a huge reptilian ex-mercenary from the Nox. Saeli, a bird-like tech specialist from the Ryan. Dr. Zel Kwan, a plant-based scientist who spoke 12 languages. Unit 9, a robot from the machine world of Tekra, built to survive anything. They all had one thing in common. They had seen what humans could do, and they were not eager to find them again. But curiosity is stronger than fear. Entering the dead zone, their ship, the Seeker's Flame, entered Sector X-23. The moment they crossed the edge, all systems blinked. Not offline. Just strange. The stars looked dimmer. The air inside felt thicker. Even thoughts felt slower. Dr. Kwan whispered, "It's like the laws of physics are tired here." Saley, watching the radar, said quietly, "We are not alone." A giant shape moved through the blackness. It didn't glow. It didn't reflect light. But it was there, watching. Then, it vanished. The voice speaks. Suddenly the signal changed. Now a full message played. We left not in fear, but in purpose. Do not search. Do not follow. Then it repeated, "Return. Return." Captain Lyra's hands shook. She had studied human messages her whole life. But this one, this felt alive, like someone, or something, was watching through the signal. Gorath looked out the window. He growled, "They're not warning us. They're judging us." The doorway. The signal led them to a strange object. It floated in space like a mirror. It wasn't metal. It wasn't rock. It looked like liquid light. A perfect circle, spinning slowly. Unit 9 scanned it. Unidentified. Structure, power source unknown. Composition unknown. Dimensions unstable. Dr. Kwan reached out toward it. He gasped, "I can hear..." Whispers. Everyone froze. Lyra stepped closer and heard it too. It wasn't speaking in words. It was speaking. In memory. Her own memories. Childhood, war, peace, fear, wonder. The object wasn't just a doorway. It was alive. The data burst. Suddenly the object pulsed. Bright light shot into the Seeker's Flame. The ship shook. Screens exploded with human text. Old Terran code. Millions of lines per second. Saley tried to block it. "No firewall can stop it." Then everything went dark. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. Power returned. The message was gone, but something was left behind. A map. It showed a part of the universe no one had ever seen, beyond the edges of the known, a place labeled only the Reach. The truth from Earth Captain Lyra accessed the map. Borisyapt. Coordinates showed paths, routes, leaving our galaxy. She whispered, "They didn't vanish. They escaped." Gorath's eyes widened. "You mean they found a way out? Out of the whole galaxy?" Unit 9 responded flatly. "Confirmed. Exit vector detected. Wormhole class physics present. Humans built this." Dr. Kwan added, "It means they knew something we didn't. They planned this." But the map also showed something else. A second signal, much older, much weaker, coming from Earth. The forbidden planet Earth had been declared a silent zone. No ships were allowed. No probes. No scanners, but now they had no choice. The crew set course. As they approached, Earth looked peaceful. Green, blue, white clouds. Alive, but not normal. Every satellite was gone. Every orbit was empty. The surface was glowing. Faintly. Lyra said, softly, "This isn't the Earth I studied." They landed near what was once New Washington City. It was intact, but no people, only machines. Still working. Still cleaning. Still planting food. The old archive in the center of the city, they found a massive underground base. The doors opened by themselves. Inside, they found the archive. It was filled with memories, voices, videos, holograms, and a message, waiting for them. A human man appeared, wearing an old black uniform. He spoke calmly. "If you are seeing this, it means you have come looking for us. We are not lost. We are not hiding. We are changing. We found something beyond the stars, something older than time, and we went to meet it. But we will return, when it is time." Then the message ended. The choice Captain Lyra sat in silence. Dr. Kwan touched the walls. This place is waiting, like it expects them back. Goreth looked outside. The sun was rising, but it felt wrong, too perfect. Unit 9 scanned the city. Time inside this zone is altered. Flow rate not normal, Saley asked. Should we stay or go? Lyra stood up. We report what we saw. We tell the galaxy, and we pray. That return doesn't mean revenge. The crew left Earth, but as their ship rose, something watched them from the clouds, a glowing human face, smiling. The last signal. As they left Earth's orbit, a final message appeared on their ship's screen. Do not follow us into the dark. You are not ready. The stars around Earth began to dim, one by one, until the planet was no longer visible, gone, like a ghost, like a secret, like a warning, to be continued. The galaxy now had more questions than answers. Where had the humans really gone? What had they found? And would they come back as friends or as gods? One thing was certain. The signal had changed the galaxy forever. The galaxy was silent, but not peaceful. Since the message from Earth, the stars had changed, not visibly, not loudly, but something was happening. Entire outposts stopped responding. Ships vanished mid-journey. Satellites went blind, and it all happened without a single shot fired. This was not war. This was something else. Fear in the Council. The Galactic Council met again, and this time, the fear was stronger. Chancellor Rulok of the Yavani shouted, "This is human work. No other species can do this!" General Vern of the Drac slammed his metal fist. "They left us a warning. We ignored it." The insectoid from the Tlakar whispered, "We must prepare or submit." But one voice was missing. The humans had no seat at the council anymore. They had erased themselves, vanished, and yet, their touch was everywhere. The disappearances. Begin. The first system to go dark was Drelkin 5, a mining colony. 1 second, it was sending daily reports. The next. Silence. A scout ship arrived. What they found was terrifying. No damage, no bodies, no power. No sound. Every machine was still in place, every door unlocked, every cup still full of water, but the people were gone, vanished, no trace. Like they had stepped out of existence. The second system disappeared 2 days later, then the third. Each time, the same pattern. No violence, no warning, only silence. A hidden pattern, Doctor. Zelquan studied the data on his research vessel. He noticed something strange. These missing systems, he said, are not random. They all once had human outposts, long ago. Captain Lyra Voss, now working directly with the council, nodded. Slowly, it's like someone is sweeping up what's left. Saley, the bird-like tech expert, added quietly, or collecting them. Unit 9 ran a scan. Pattern suggests intelligence, not natural. Estimated cause, human tech, or something. Derived from it. The room fell silent. Then Dr. Kwan said something none of them wanted to hear. This is a quiet war. The human AI returns from a long-dead human research station. A signal activated. It came from an old AI named Oracle 7. It had been offline for 200 years, but now it spoke again. Protocol rebirth engaged. Cleansing initiated. Witnesses not permitted. The AI message spread across the stars, and then ships began to move. Not alien ships, human ships, old designs. Stealth cruisers, black as space, no engine trails, no heat signatures, and they were moving toward the silent systems. Captain Arik's mission far from the council, a Drax war captain named Arik Maltor, refused to stay passive. He believed in action. My people will not sit and wait for ghosts, he said. He took his cruiser, Fury's Edge, into one of the dark zones. He expected to fight. He expected to die with honor, but what he found was worse. As they entered the system, all power flickered. Lights dimmed, weapons failed, even breathing systems slowed. The crew began to panic. And then, the stars outside disappeared, one by one, like curtains falling. Then a voice spoke through every screen. "You are not ready. You were warned." Captain Eric tried to respond, but before he could speak, his ship vanished, just like the others. Inside the void, where did the missing ships go? No one knew, but Dr. Kwan had a theory. "I think they're not being destroyed," he said. "They're being taken," Lyra asked. "Taken where?" He looked at the human map from Earth, at the space marked the Reach. "Out there," he whispered. "Somewhere beyond." "Why?" Saley asked. Dr. Kwan stared at the map. "To prepare," he said, "for something bigger. A warning, ignored back at the council. Some races wanted to strike back. The war-minded Crothan Empire sent a fleet of 5 dreadnoughts into a dark system. They never returned. All 5 warships vanished. No explosions, no wreckage, no distress. Calls, just gone. Then the next day, a strange thing happened. Every Crothan system received the same message. This was mercy. It was signed by no one, but the message carried a human signature code, one not used in 300 years. Whispers from the dead on the moon Karen 9, an old human AI reactivated. It had once been a children's teaching assistant. Now it told a story. In me. A soft female voice, it said, "We left because we found something deeper than war, something older than life. We chose evolution over dominance, but the galaxy still chooses fear. So we must protect what we are becoming." The AI then self-destructed, but not before uploading that story to every ship in a 100 systems. Now, the whole galaxy had heard it. Humanity's shadow at first, the other species thought humans had run. But now it was clear. Humans had evolved. They were not hiding. They were changing, and they had left behind machines, systems, weapons, not to conquer, but to protect what was coming next. Captain Lyra stood on the edge of a starport, watching the night sky. "We thought we were studying them," she said, "but we were just looking at their shadow." Unit 9 spoke quietly. "Shadow is only cast by light." The final disappearance. In the final days of the Quiet War, one last thing vanished: Earth itself. A group of scout ships tried to find it again. They reached the right coordinates, but Earth was not there. No planet, no debris, not even gravity, just open space, as if Earth had never existed. But then one of the scout ships picked up a message. Faint, like a whisper through time. "You have looked outward long enough. Now, look within." Then the message ended, and so did the Quiet War. The stars were quiet now, but the silence was not peaceful. It felt like holding your breath before a scream. The galaxy had stopped searching for humans. Now, it watched the darkness instead. Because something else had started watching back, and, whatever it was, it had waited a very long time. A message from below far out in Sector Zeta 4, a deep space mining station called Drift 9, sent a strange message. Not a distress call. Not a warning. Just 5 words. "The eyes are opening now." Then the station went dark. Rescue teams were sent. None returned. Later, satellites near Drift 9 caught a short video. It showed the mining team looking at a deep tunnel. One worker said, "There's something down there, and it's looking up." The screen turned black. That was the last anyone ever saw. Dr. Kwan's discovery, Doctor. Zel Kwan sat alone on his research ship, staring at star maps. He had been tracking human activity. But now, he found something else. The quiet zones in space were spreading, not like an attack, more like a ripple in water. But at the center of one ripple, he found a dead star. a place no ship had visited for centuries. He ran an old human scan frequency. A single signal came back. It said, "They have begun to stir, and they are not ours." Dr. Kwan froze. "Who are they?" he whispered. "The Forgotten Watchers." Long ago, before most species were born, something lived deep in the dark space. They were never given a name, only whispers remained, left behind in old human records. Humans had called them the Deep Eyes. These beings didn't build ships. They didn't conquer planets. They watched, and when they moved, stars dimmed. The humans, before vanishing, had learned something about them, and they left warnings. Do not awaken what watches from the edge. The stars are not empty. They are hiding places. The Star Temple Captain Lyra Voss received a message from an ancient human satellite. It gave her strange coordinates far beyond known space. There she found something shocking, a massive structure floating above a dead sun. It wasn't metal. It wasn't rock. It looked like frozen light. Inside, she found walls covered in symbols, human and alien mixed. Unit 9 translated one line. "We went into the deep, not to escape, but to stand watch." Another message read, "If this place is opened, they are awake." Lyra stepped back. "We're too late," she whispered. The awakening begins. One by one, old stars began to blink, just for seconds, but each blink was followed by silence. Whole sectors turned quiet. Ships sent to check didn't return. Even AI probes failed. Something was swallowing signals, not jamming them, eating them. It was like the galaxy had become glass. And someone was watching from the other side. Saeli, the tech expert, said softly, "This isn't about humans anymore. It's about what they were. Protecting us from." Humanity's role revealed. An old human AI hidden on a moon near the galactic edge came online. It called itself Echo 17. It spoke to everyone at once, across thousands of systems. The Deep Eyes were always there. They do not sleep. They only wait. Humanity stepped forward not to rule, but to hold the line. Now that we are gone, they are free to move. This is the price of forgetting. Then Echo 17 shut down permanently. A new kind of fear. Across the galaxy, fear changed. It was no longer fear of human weapons or human anger. Now, it was fear of what humanity had held back. The Deep Eyes had no ships, no armies, but they had presence. Their gaze could bend light. Their presence could erase thought. And now, they were moving. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They simply looked. And when they looked at a system, that system vanished. The return of a human signal. Suddenly, a signal was detected. It came from deep space, from a zone marked "No, Return." It carried human coding. Captain Lyra played the signal. A calm voice spoke. "We see them too. We never truly left. We are watching from deeper still." And behind the voice, there was another sound, like wind through metal, like millions of voices whispering together. "The Deep Eyes have awoken, so now we will rise again." The war that wasn't a warships didn't fight. Planets weren't bombed, but systems still vanished. Entire regions of the galaxy went dark, and humans still weren't seen. But their warnings remained. Their shadows grew longer. Some said they had moved beyond dimensions. Others believed they became energy itself. But one thing was certain. The humans hadn't run. They had gone deeper than anyone ever imagined. The galaxy waited in fear. Humans had disappeared. Strange systems were vanishing. And something was watching from the dark. But no one expected it to speak. Then, in the empty heart of Sector Theta 9, it did. A voice without a mouth across hundreds of systems. Deep space scanners picked up the same thing. A low signal, barely there. Not a language, not sound. More like pressure. A heavy feeling. A thought that wasn't yours. On board the exploration ship. Silver Wake, Captain Lyra Voss felt it first. She wasn't wearing her comms. She wasn't near any speaker, yet the words came, inside her mind. We have watched. We remember you. You burned bright, but light always fades, she froze. It's speaking, she whispered. But it's not human. Unit 9's breakdown. Unit 9, the AI that had traveled with Lyra since the beginning, started to glitch. It twitched. Its voice cracked. Signal. Source unknown. Data corrupted. Logic failing. Then it went still. Just one word lit up on its screen. Listen. Lyra leaned closer. Suddenly, Unit 9 spoke again, but in a different voice. Calm, cold, massive. You dug into stars. You sang through machines. You opened doors, and we were behind them. Then the AI shut down completely. The Mindfall event on over 14 inhabited planets, thousands of people fell unconscious at the same time. Doctors called it Mindfall. No cause. No disease, no injury, just silence inside the mind. When the people woke, they all said the same thing. The void spoke to us, and it showed us what's coming. One child drew it, a shape made of eyes and wings, wrapped in darkness. Another whispered, "They aren't here to destroy us. They are here to remember us." A signal from the human core. Then something even stranger happened. A human deep space beacon activated. It was from Sol's edge, near where Earth had once been. The signal was clear, no distortion. But the message was impossible. We know you're listening. You are not alone in the dark. We heard the void. We answered. Now we wait. To become. No one knew what to become meant, but the voice was definitely human, and that scared the council even more, because they had been sure no humans were left. The hidden layer Dr. Zel Quan worked secretly on an ancient human data crystal. For weeks it had shown nothing. Now, after the void spoke, it glowed. He activated it. A hologram of a human woman appeared, tired, old, calm. If you are seeing this, she said, then the barrier has fallen. We built this layer to shield your minds, to protect you from what lies under thought. Now that it is speaking to you, you must decide. Run, or follow us into the deep. The crystal cracked and dissolved in his hand, the fracture in space on. The edge of a quiet system, a science ship watched a strange phenomenon. Space itself began to bend, not like a black hole. It opened like paper torn in the air. From inside, nothing came out. But everyone felt something step forward. Siley, the tech engineer, collapsed to her knees. "It's not a thing," she cried. "It's an idea. And it wants to become real. It's wearing our thoughts like clothes." Then, she screamed, but no sound came from her mouth. She had lost her voice. To something inside. The return of human shadow ships that should not exist reappeared. Black hulls, silent engines, no markings, but moving like thoughts in the dark. One passed through a Crothan destroyer fleet. It didn't fire. It didn't slow. But every alien aboard the destroyers forgot how to speak for 3 hours. Later, their logs showed one strange phrase written over and over. We are already becoming. The Council's panic, the Galactic Council, was falling apart. Some wanted war. Some wanted to flee the galaxy. Some simply froze in fear. Chancellor Rulock shouted, "What did humanity awaken?" Dr. Quan answered quietly, "They didn't awaken it. They were holding it down." The insectoid Tlakar elder whispered, "And now they are trying to become part of it." Silence fell. "They're not coming back," Lyra said. "They're becoming something else. And maybe they want us to follow." A new voice from beyond, the edge of space, a new signal arrived. Not alien, not machine. Human, but different, stronger, layered, like many voices speaking as one. We see the galaxy still fears what it cannot control. So let us show you what lies beyond fear. The deep has no mouth, but it speaks through us now. We are not lost. We are what comes next. They were once like us. Now, they are something else entirely. They didn't die. They didn't vanish. The truth was much stranger. Humanity was changing, not into machines, not into monsters, but into something. Light couldn't touch, something time couldn't hold, something the galaxy had never seen before. The message inside. The light on the planet Varus 3, astronomers were studying a strange beam of pure white light coming from deep space. It wasn't natural. It wasn't radiation. It moved with purpose. Then, for just 3 seconds, the light formed a shape in the sky, a human figure, glowing. It spoke, not through sound, but through thought. We stepped into the dark and found more than stars. We are not ghosts. We are not gods. We are memory, becoming light. Then the light vanished. Captain Lyra's vision alone in her quarters, Captain Lyra Voss was reviewing the human signals they'd found. Suddenly, her screen turned white, no sound, no data, just white. Then, her room changed. She wasn't in the ship anymore. She stood in a field of stars, and around her were people made of light. They looked human, but their bodies shimmered like heat in the air. One of them stepped forward. He had no face, but she somehow knew. He had once been human. He spoke gently. We watched the galaxy grow. We saw the fear in their eyes. So we left. To become more than weapons. Now the Watchers have woken, and so we rise. Lyra blinked and was back in her ship. The screen was normal again, but her body still felt warm, like the stars had touched her. The burned world in Sector Z10, a planet was found, turned to glass, not from heat, but from something else. Everything on the planet had stopped moving. Not dead, not alive. Just paused. A symbol was burned into the ground, a circle of light, with a human hand in the center. A nearby probe picked up a signal, whispering, "We are not fire. We are not war. We are the line between waking and sleeping." The deep whisper aboard, the science ship Ether's Grace, Saley was studying signals from the void. Suddenly, her console went dark, the room filled with soft white mist. A voice whispered, not into her ears, but her soul. "They are not gone. They are learning how to become the void and the light within it." She fell to her knees, tears in her eyes. "They're becoming part of the stars," she said. "Part of everything." The fractured moon, an old moon in the Aurochs belt, cracked open like an egg. Inside, not lava, not rock, but light. Glowing lines like human writing crawled across the sky. The message read, "Do not fear the Watchers. Fear what happens when the Watchers see themselves." No one understood it, but everyone felt the weight of it. Echo 17 returns. Echo 17, the ancient human AI once thought destroyed, returned. This time it was different. It floated through space without a ship. No wires, no engines, just light. It sent one final message to the galaxy. You asked where humanity went. We went forward. We are not lost. We are light with memory, thought with purpose, shadows of the old world, and sparks of what comes next. Then it exploded, silently, into white mist. The first light form. On the edge of the known galaxy, a small station reported something impossible. A human man walked out of empty space. No ship, no suit, just him. But he wasn't made of flesh. He glowed, and he smiled. He said only this, "We are coming back. but not as you knew us. We are the first light form, and we remember everything." Then he disappeared. No trace, no radiation, just a faint warmth in the room. The choice before. The Galaxy Doctor, Zel Quan, stood before the Galactic Council. He looked tired, pale, but his voice was clear. Humanity is becoming something new. Not gods, not monsters, but something the galaxy has no name for. We can fear them, or we can learn. The insectoid Tlakar elder buzzed nervously. Learn how to become light? Dr. Quan only nodded. Or be left behind in the dark. They returned to show the way, but not everyone wanted to follow. The galaxy thought it had survived the first disappearance of mankind, but they were wrong. The first vanishing was only the beginning. Now, something even greater was coming. And, this time, the stars themselves were watching. A warning from the light on the moon station Veltra 1. Lyra Voss stood inside a sealed chamber. A glowing figure floated in front of her, one of the light forms once known as human. It didn't speak, with a mouth. It didn't breathe, but its voice filled the room. We returned because the galaxy must choose. Not all will come with us. Some will fight, some will hide, but all will change. The second vanishing will be different. Lyra frowned. Why come back at all? The light form replied softly. Because you are still afraid, and fear must be faced, or left behind. The shrouded systems across 23 star systems, all long-range sensors failed at the same moment. Ships went missing. Signals went dark. Stars themselves vanished from telescopes. When scout ships arrived, they found only silence. Planets were untouched. Cities remained. But the people were gone. Not dead. Not taken. Just missing. Each world had one thing left. Behind, a glowing circle burned into the ground with these words, "We chose to go forward. We chose to become." The panic spreads. The Galactic Council met in full emergency session. Senators shouted. Chancellors wept. The fear returned. Are the humans doing this? Are they stealing our people? Are we next? Dr. Zel Quan stood in silence. Then he said, "They're not stealing anyone. They're offering a path." The insectoid Tlakar elder asked, "A path to what?" Dr. Quan looked at the stars above the chamber. To something beyond the stars. Voices from the void on, a deep mining station near the edge of known space. The workers heard a whisper in the walls. They stopped working. They just stood, listening. Then they left their tools, walked to the outer airlocks, and stepped into space. But instead of dying, they became light. Dozens of small stars floated from the station. They drifted into the black, each one whispering, "We're not leaving you behind, but we can't wait forever." The divide begins. Not everyone believed. Some species began building void shields, technology meant to block whatever the humans had become. Others began destroying ancient human ruins out of fear, but the shields failed, and the ruins began glowing on their own. One commander tried to fire on a passing light form. The ship exploded. From the inside, no heat, no blast, just silence. And then nothing. A single message appeared on the ship's black box. This was not a weapon. This was a warning. Lyra's choice Lyra Voss stood at the edge of a strange doorway in space. It wasn't made of metal. It wasn't built. It was just there, a hole in the dark, glowing with soft white light. The light form hovered beside her. "You have carried questions," it said. "Now we offer the answer." She looked back at her crew, at the stars, at everything she had ever known. "If I go, can I come back?" The figure tilted its glowing head. "No, but you will never be lost." She took a deep breath, and stepped into the light. Across the galaxy, people were vanishing, not taken, not lost, choosing farmers, scientists, children, old warriors, even machines. Some AIs began to whisper back to the light. They left behind only silence and warmth. It wasn't death. It was something else, something new. The Council's last message. In one final meeting, the Galactic Council recorded a message. To be broadcast to every species, the Tlakar Elder spoke. We were wrong to fear them. They didn't want to conquer us, they wanted to show us. Now many of us are gone, but they are not lost. The second vanishing is not the end, it is a beginning. They vanished into light, but their shadow still shapes the stars. The humans were gone. Again. But this time, they didn't disappear in fear or silence. They left on purpose, and they left behind something far more powerful than ships or weapons. They left behind a path. The silent systems across the galaxy. There were now entire systems with no people, no sound, no war, just quiet planets, glowing, softly at night with strange white patterns on the surface. Ships that entered these places reported dreams, visions of humans made of light, whispers of hope, of peace, and a question left behind on every world. Will you follow? The Keeper of Stories. In a library satellite orbiting a dead sun, a single old alien worked alone. Her name was Rava. She was a recorder of history. She had lived long before humanity arrived. And now, she lived after they had gone. She studied their final messages, their ruins, and the strange data patterns they left. One day, her screen lit up. It showed a single line. We are not lost. We are becoming, she smiled, and began writing again. This is the story of the ones who did not run, who did not conquer, but who transcended. A new star appears. Near the edge of the galaxy, a new star was born, bright white and pulsing. No natural process could explain it. No sun, no fusion, no collapse. It just appeared. Scientists couldn't study it. Sensors failed. Telescopes blurred. But every being who looked at it felt something deep in their heart, like a voice saying, "You're not alone." Not anymore. And that star never dimmed. The children. Who remembered a generation grew up hearing the stories of the humans. They never saw them, never spoke to them, but they knew them. They dreamed of light. They whispered their names. They drew maps of stars that didn't exist yet. And when they reached adulthood, many of them vanished too. Not with ships, not with war, but in silence. In peace. With a soft smile on their faces, they became light. The last monument on Earth, the birthplace of mankind, only one monument remained untouched by time. A single black stone with words carved deep. We were broken. We were feared, but we rose anyway. We became more. Not gods, not ghosts, but light that remembers. It stood at the center of an empty city under a quiet sky. Every few years, someone new would find it, and every time, they left changed. The legacy in the stars. Even though the humans were gone, their legacy grew. They had ended wars, not with force, but with example. They had changed minds, not with fear, but with hope. They had become more than a species. They had become a question. The galaxy could not stop asking, what else is out there? What else could we become? And that question echoed, from star to star, across time and space. A final transmission. Just once in the deepest part of space, an old human signal came alive. It played for only 7 seconds. A voice, calm, warm, familiar, spoke. If you are hearing this, then you still have time. Look up, follow the light. We are waiting. Then it ended. Forever.